The British come into their trenches for a meal of sausage and sauerkraut and beer. In the afternoon, soccer games broke out between the two sides. The English gave away plum puddings and cookies and other homemade delights that they had received from their families back in England. As the soccer games came to an end and as night fell, they all joined in singing together carols and then closed with Auld Lang Syne and returned to their trenches. Rumors of what had happened reached the generals in their cozy, fancy French chateaus, and they immediately sent runners to stop what was going on. Officers were threatened with dire consequences if it happened again. It is a shame that the leaders didn't have the Christmas spirit and the common sense of the soldiers, but they didn't, and the war went on. The fighting resumed the next day in the Ypres salient. When it ended 4 years later, the battlefield covered 40 square miles with enough dead men to cover each square yard. With common sense and a Christian spirit, 9 million men might still be alive that died in a useless war which solved nothing but leaded into World War II 20 years later. The second story is a bit more upbeat. It's called Miracle in Mindanao, which is part of the Philippines. And it was written by Joseph Banaz from Cleveland, Ohio. My most remarkable Christmas overseas was in the Philippine Islands in 1945, just after the end of World War II. In June of that year, I shipped out to the Philippines to join an infantry regiment on the Isle of Mindanao. The war was still going on when we reached our seaboard destination of Cagayan de Oro, 300 miles south of Manila, where we were under constant attack from Japanese soldiers hiding in the hills. Thankfully, the war ended in August, and I was assigned to organize basic training for new Philippine recruited soldiers who were stationed in the area. Like most of the Philippines, that area had been routed by the Japanese army for more than 3 years. Their partly trained soldiers in the Philippine army did not stand a chance against the ferocious and well-equipped well-equipped Japanese soldiers. When the fighting finally stopped and the local residents came down from their hiding place in the hills, they were bedraggled and worn to the bone. No fresh water, little food, and no clothing to speak of. They were living in flimsy wood and cardboard shacks. I promised myself that before I left the islands, I would do anything I could to help these people. To keep that vow, I begged, borrowed, and stole all I could possibly get my hands on from the United States Army, and maybe the Marines too. It wasn't long before I met a fine family by the name of Batista. The parents had